Hello, my name's Bev and I'm the author of the book Please Eat, A Mother's Struggle to Free Her Teenage Son from Anorexia, which describes our family's battle with the deadly eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, which my teenage son Ben developed back in 2009 when he was just 15 years old. In January 2011, a couple of years after my son began to develop the eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, I began to write a blog, and I wrote it for a number of years until I myself began to get ill with post-traumatic stress disorder. Hopefully my blog can go some way to helping other parents identify the warning signs of an eating disorder faster and fast track them through the learning curve. It's a massive learning curve when you know nothing about eating disorders apart from what you may have read in the media. The most important thing is to get their son or daughter into treatment as quickly as possible, because obviously the faster it's diagnosed, the quicker the treatment begins, the sooner the young person can recover and get their life back. This is the second post from my blog, written on Thursday the 6th of January 2011. It's called Breakthroughs, the Eating Disorder is Losing the Fight. What do smoked mackerel, after-eight mince, low-fat spread and jam on toast, 5 varieties of biscuit and carrot cake have in common? They are all things that 12 months ago Ben would have avoided like the plague, but which he's eaten this week without any problem. And this Christmas he had a chocolate advent calendar. OK, it's not an ideal situation, in that he is still counting calories and finds it virtually impossible to go over his current daily total by more than, say, 20 or 30 calories. But the other difference is that he's not resisting eating food that adds up to the calorie total. And unlike a year ago with the anorexia, he isn't cheating, fibbing, cutting down, or secretly throwing food away. A negative is that he still freaks out if he puts on weight on a weekly basis. The NICE guidelines, that's the National Institute for Clinical Excellence, recommend a gain of 0.5 kilo a week for anorexia outpatients. After several months of losing weight consistently, Ben's weight has been pretty much static for the last couple of months. It's gone up by 0.5 kilo, but it's also gone down by that amount too, and again, and again, and again. So in effect, he isn't gaining yet. But the big difference is a definite shift, which began back in October. After months and months of fighting us, Cams and his family, and resisting recovery, he finally embraced the need to kick the anorexia into touch. With anorexia, recovery is very slow and a snail-like step at a time. We all believe that with this attitude shift will come gradual weight gain, and unlike the quick weight gain he experienced at the start of the CAMS treatment in the spring of 2010, which he promptly lost over the summer and early autumn, he won't be fighting it. Well, not most of the time, at any rate. I said to Ben that when he recovers from the anorexia, he will make us prouder than any academic or sporting achievement ever could. He will have conquered one of the hardest things that teenagers ever have to conquer, a serious eating disorder. It is very, very hard for him to fight the anorexia. Newcomers to this horrible illness can't understand why the anorexia sufferer can't just snap out of the anorexic thinking. I was no different. I thought I could logically persuade Ben to recover. But anorexia doesn't work on logic. The thinking is totally irrational. I even thought it would only take a few months of professional treatment and hey presto, he'd be better. I was wrong, very wrong. But right now, as I write, Ben is baking a carrot cake, complete with cream cheese icing. Just before Christmas, he baked another carrot cake for his birthday. 12 months ago, no way would he have baked a second cake so close to the first. Well, he might have done, but he wouldn't have touched it. He would have offered it to us, like an indulgent grandma spoiling the grandchildren while depriving himself. Also, 12 months ago, any baking would have been completely free of fat or oils. With Ben, anorexia has meant a horror of all fats. It's taken a long time to change his mindset over fats, and he will now happily eat all the good fats: sunflower oil, olive oil, rapeseed oil, flora, nuts, oily fish, and so on. It's just saturated fats that he has an issue with. He still examines the nutritional guidelines on food packaging. But that in itself brings me round to another breakthrough in the anorexia. 12 months ago, supermarket shopping was a nightmare, with Ben picking up items, examining the nutritional content, and then putting them down again. He'd return items from my trolley to shelves with horror. He would also spend ages choosing groceries, moving from one shelf to another, picking things up, and then putting them down. It was horrible, and I'd hate watching normal people shop, buying everyday items without batting an eyelid. Our situation was surreal. Now we just go shopping like normal people. Well, almost normal. As I said, he still examines packaging and will reject one high calorific item for something lower. But the difference between now and then is acute. I can now go supermarket shopping without dreading the experience or feeling terrified of picking up something that will freak him out, and hating buying low-fat or low-calorie stuff when I could see him disappearing physically in front of my eyes. Imagine an anorexia sufferer tucking into steamed pudding and custard. As well as the carrot cake, we have a steamed ginger pudding in the fridge, and I'll be making some more custard to go with it this evening. If I'd been able to look into the future 12 months ago, I would have been amazed and ecstatic. But as always with this illness, I need to be vigilant. There can be a blip at any time, and it's not plain sailing by any means. 18 plus months on in the fight against anorexia, I can be quietly and patiently confident, but not overly confident. That's the end of that second blog entry from 2011, and you can click on the link coming up soon to go to the next entry, which is called Anorexia Nervosa, the need to put on weight. You'll find a link below to my blog, and you'll also find a link to my website where you can download free PDFs of my blog, and also a link to Amazon where you can buy a copy of my book.